Hey, Scrapper Names fans, and welcome back to another process video. I have this 12 by 12 layout for you today, and this one is for the Scrap the Boys March Challenge, and it was a bit of a when I grow up kind of theme to it. So I'm scrapping this photo of my son. It's actually a fairly recent photo considering what I've been scrapping lately. This was only taken late last year, I think probably November. Possibly, I can't remember now. And he has caught a blue tongue lizard in our backyard, so which is pretty good considering that we had a brown snake at one stage in here. But my son loves reptiles. He has had them around him since he was a little baby, when his father and I, his father mainly, kept reptiles. So he was most ecstatic to have caught this big fella sunning himself on this rock wall we have here in our backyard. Hunter toys with the idea of wanting to be working with animals of some kind. I thought this was perfect for this layout. Now, again, I'm using some stash here, a bit of stash busting. I've got this background paper, which is, I think it's crepe paper. Is it Wild at Heart or Wild? Yeah, I think it's Wild at Heart. I think I had it left over from an old kit I was getting. So I went with this one, just with the leafy background. I thought, perfect for, even though it's not a jungle animal, that's okay. That's okay. It's still out in the backyard. Although with all the rain we've had and now sunshiny days, my backyard is going to turn into a jungle. So I matted that photo. Now, you can't probably see it real well, but on a lighter blue piece of paper, just to give it a bit of a border and pop from the darker background. And then there's this paper. So I have hoarded this paper forever, semi-deliberately, so partly that I keep forgetting that it's in a packet of random papers that I have sitting in my paper collections. And I pulled it out to use. And then I found this other one from Crepe Paper and thought this one was more perfect and I would use the other one. But I just couldn't bring myself to cut into it. Oh, I know, it's so bad. Do you ever have those moments where you're like, yes, I'm going to use this paper, and as you would have seen, I paused because I was going to do a ripped rough edge on it, and I just couldn't. So I think I'm going to save it for a proper, a full layout. I don't think I can cut into it. I just really like it. I've always found it really hard. It's getting better now to find boy collections, and that's boy paper, because my son is obviously my firstborn. So when I first started scrapbooking for him, it was really just plain blue papers and the random odds and ends of things. Now scrapbooking has become a bit bigger, or I've just dived into the world better. It's easier to get, but yeah, I really love that paper. I think it's like a jelly bean soup one, I want to say. Something like that. Anyway, so what I decided to do is leave it and lay out my photo on a couple of different bits of paper. I was looking for some yellow and orange to go with his jacket, but I couldn't find anything that I liked and really popped out for me. So I went with, I think I had a Heidi Swap Colour Fresh, that's the green fluoro-y one, and then a Vicky Bouton one, which is that red one, the final layer I've put around. And then literally stash busting. This little square of vellum was sitting just randomly on my desk. I didn't have a spot. It just was sitting there. So I was like, right, I'm going to use you because it always floats around. And it's got flowers and leaves and things. So I thought, what the heck? It sticks with my theme of, nature and all that. So I did. And it gave my layout, it's added a bit of a soft touch to it. I think with all the darker colours and things as well, it just added a nice little soft layer. So I was really happy with the way that looked, except that it needed to be trimmed down. The lizard is a cut file I found on the Silhouette store. So I just cut that out with my cut file. And I actually cut it first with white cardstock, and that was accidental. I meant to actually do it with a pattern paper and didn't think when I did it. And so then I got this other pattern paper and used it to cut. So then I made a layered effect on the lizard, and I really like the white border it gives, the white cardstock underneath gives. yeah, I was really happy with that. So what I just did then, and didn't make you watch because it was quite a tedious process, was popped that lizard up on some craft foam just to give it an extra little bit of dimension and interest to the page as well. Make it look like the lizard really is climbing up the page. Alright, so I've pulled a couple of ephemera boxes out from my stash. This one is that I think I'm rummaging through. I know I was using a Vicky Bouton at one stage stash. And then this one I think is actually the crepe paper, my crepe paper one. Now, I haven't got a lot of crepe paper, so it's all mixed into one box at the moment. So yeah, I mainly, I think, did I mainly pull from that one? Oh, and some Cocoa Vanilla Studio, some older boy collections, the Totally Rad. Oh, that might have been all I used. Anyway, so yeah, so I'm just rummaging through, trying to find some bits and pieces that will go. This is, oh, there I am, cup to the Cocoa Vanilla. The background paper was really good with the leaves on them. I don't think it was too busy. I don't feel it was anyway. So I could really sort of get in and embellish. And the cut file wasn't overly big, so it wasn't such a big focal point. As I've said before, usually when I use cut files, for me I usually like to leave the cut file and the photo as the focal image, so I don't add a lot of embellishment. Usually it takes up enough of the page. If you've watched my Instagram stories, I did another layout over the weekend, which I didn't film, but I did another cut file, and it looks so lovely. And it's got, just looking at it now, a little bit of embellishment, but it really just didn't need a lot, and that's just me. So just adding bits and pieces here and there. Just building little clusters around and just trying to tie in the colours that are in the photo as usual. These are some little pieces from the Totally Rad pack. And I just thought that added a little nice bit of interest and balance to that top corner. So if you haven't already popped over, and you're obviously watching this video, but I've got a couple of videos. I need to share them. I'll probably do that today actually, before this video goes up. But I've had a craft room tour, an art journal page, and I think another 12x12 all go up in the space of the last week. So I've managed to get a couple of videos happening, which is I'm pretty happy with. So definitely keep tuned, because I've got a bit of a plan and I've managed to do a couple of videos to keep me going. So I aim for about 2 a week, 2 to 3 a week, depending. But yeah, I did a craft room tour, and that went up on my channel over the weekend. So what's today? Today's Tuesday. This video actually won't probably go up until, I think, Wednesday or Thursday maybe. I can't remember when I've got it scheduled for, planned for. But yeah, so definitely pop over and have a look. Especially if you're anything like me and like to have a bit of a sticky beak at the way people organise their things. By no means is mine perfect, and it's always a work in progress, but I'm liking my new space at the moment. It seems to function quite well. I'm near all my supplies now, so that just makes it that bit better. Yeah. So again, as you can see, just adding little pops of embellishments here and there, just to build some clusters and interest around the bottom of the photo. Those bits down the bottom I use, there's a little journaling tag from the Vicky Bouton collection, so I'm just going to, I'll journal on that as well. Thought a bit of wood veneer would add a nice kind of naturally warm type touch to this page, being that it's all about being out in nature. Yeah, so I added just the tiniest little wood veneer. I think it says amazing. It's from a Kaiser Craft pack. And I've added the title, which you can't quite tell, but they're actually different coloured thickers, gold thickers, I should say. And at first I thought, oh, this is going to bother me. And I fiddled around for ages. That's why I cut it all out, because I wasn't sure. I'd put some down and it wouldn't work, and it just didn't look right, and it was driving me nuts. But that's my title, When I Grow Up. And then I'm just using these little puffy alphas. I love these. I think they're a Pink Fresh Studio. And I just put When I Grow Up ... Lizard Man. And that's it. And then I think once I do this, I think that's it for my layout. I don't think I add any sparkly bits or anything like that. I think I leave it as is. I could be wrong. We will see. But I do hope you've enjoyed this video. And as I said, I've got a plan with I've got a few to edit and put up, so that will be good. So keep tuned, keep watching. If you hit subscribe, I think you get notifications when I put a new video up. But yeah, and if you've got any questions, as always, pop them in the comments and I will get back to you. Yeah, I think that's it. So just finishing off now. I think I'll pop this down and put the date on it and give you some close-up shots. I really like how this turned out, actually. It's always a not too sure moment when you're using paper you're not confident with, but it worked. So yes. All right, guys. Well, thank you again, and I will see you again in the next video soon. Bye.
Artlist.io